Hey, everybody. Let's go.
Yeah,
Hey, we're all in.
I am almost in the next video. Hold on. Let me
I'm going to push you out of this video.
Come over here a little bit.
There we go. There we go.
Yep. Today,
Yeah.
special Saturday Sidetracks show. And we got our friend Sophie with us.
Hey.
Came all the way down from Michigan. This is her third time here. The second time being on the show, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
And we went out to Mannequins last night, had a whole adventure.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah. I got into 2 fights, scored 2 victories, not a scratch to myself. Jenny got her ass beat.
Well, I mean...
Like, nah, not really.
Not really.
Dude had her down on the ground, and then fucking before I could get to her, fucking whole crowd of people fucking pulled
we
off
need
of
to
there,
get
and
into
they
that because that was a fucking crazy ass fucking thing.
Dude grabbed, and then before that, about a couple hours before that, I was like pulling security. They're out there dancing, and I'm watching them. They got all these randos in there, and I'm just keeping an eye and making sure they're behaving.
The randos, not
the randos.
us. We know how to. We know how to behave.
Yeah. One dude, he was like 6 something, fucking walked up behind Jenny and grabbed her ass. I was on him like
And I was
stink
like,
on
hey.
shit. Yeah, fucking went up there in front of his friends and slapped him like a bitch, a full-on bitch. And I said, "You grab my wife's ass again, I'll kill one of your friends." And that dissent, he didn't mean no harm by it. He says, "I will kill him."
I love when dudes say shit like that. He didn't mean any harm by it. I was like, so I was telling Tom before the show, I said, "Tell you what, I'm gonna randomly go around the club and start socking random dudes in the balls and say, what? I didn't mean any harm by it.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that I do.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Don't, like, keep your fucking hands to yourself. Why is that hard? I don't understand why some people have... I mean, I thought we learned that in kindergarten, right?
Yeah. They were out there dancing together, and they had one dude was called Mr. Eyeballs.
That's what we called it.
You know what? He had funny context in too, so it just accentuated it.
Just accentuated funny.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, eyeballs. I thought Eyeballs was going to be a trouble, but after I whipped that one dude's ass, Eyeballs wanted to be my friend. He's like, "Dude, I saw the whole thing, man. That was great."
He told both of us, like, "Oh, you guys okay?"
That was great, man. Don't forget, if anything ever goes down, I got your back. It says, "Oh, we're hanging out now." That's what I'm thinking. It says, "Oh, me and you're hanging out. There, you're fucking Eyeballs. I know you, bro."
It's like, we've been watching you.
Been watching you, man. Fucking trying to move in sideways. You got an extra girl available, don't you? You know, get the fuck out of here, dude. Old doughboy and shit.
Holy shit.
It was funny.
I mean...
Well, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny for Jen.
No, it absolutely was not funny.
What happened with that?
It's funny now, but it wasn't funny last night at all.
What happened with that?
Yeah, we need to expand, because John Smith said, well, that sounds like a story that could use with some expanding on. Yeah, oh, we're going to tell you the whole sordid thing, like blow by blow.
This was fight 2 of the night.
Yeah, because the first one was just, it wasn't really a fight. You just went up and slapped him.
And that ended it right there.
Yeah, he didn't like fight.
He didn't want to fight. The second one, it had some dude, he was probably about, how would you say, 5'7" maybe?
Okay, so this dude, like I said, he came up to me earlier. He was, I'm 5'7", so like, 5'7", 5'8", maybe.
Okay, all right, about 5'7", 5'8".
He had these big old, like, Jeffrey Dahmer looking glasses.
Just like
on.
square.
Like, you couldn't tell how old he was. He had longer hair, and he was either really wasted or high. You couldn't really tell.
He was late 20s, early 30s, I think. He's over there with Eyeballs, and he's just walking in a circle around them while they're dancing and shit. I'm fucking trying to play with this shit. I hate when
dudes do that.
Well, he was coming, like, right up to our face.
Yeah, right.
Earlier, he walked right up to me. He just looked at me and goes, "Wow, you're beautiful." Cody, like,
yeah, don't do that.
Like,
don't do that.
I was like, thanks, and just moved out of the way.
Yeah. Man to man, I'm telling you guys, don't do that. All right. Ignore women, basically. If they're not showing any interest, just
leave us alone, for Christ's sake.
They don't want you. Okay. If they're not giving you any attention, they don't want you. So he walks around one time, fucking gets right between them, and I says, okay. I was leaning up against the wall, just letting men be men, but there's certain fucking shit can only go for so far. When I start seeing Jen or any of our friends start going, hey, no, and the dude doesn't take no for an answer.
Getting uncomfortable because it's like you're trying to dance and just kind of like be yourself, and like then you just have these like encroaching like on your space, and they won't like go away.
There's unwritten rules, club culture, you know.
Like get out of my fucking dancing space.
So I walk up and get in between him and them. So I cock block him. And start dancing. Well, he starts going around me. So I just put my hand on his chest and pushed him back. That was warning
knock
one.
that off.
What did you do? He turned around and then came back, right?
Well, that's what I saw you do that, and I was like, that. I mean, look at you, like move, keep going.
Out.
And then I think he was like too wasted because he was kind of putting up like a piece on, like he was gonna kind of come like.
Yeah, I saw that like out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, I ain't gonna talk to you. There's no
negotiation.
There's no negotiation. There's no. With me, there's no. If there's one warning, he came back. I clocked him right in the face. Pow!
It was fast.
And then go pop, 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 pop. So I'm just beating the shit out of him, and then I got him in a headlock like that. And around that time, I'm getting swamped by my friends trying to stop
it, and then I tapped Jenny.
Yeah.
Because my back was turned. We were dancing.
I tapped her, and I'm like, look.
And I turned around, and I was like, oh shit. And like I went over there, and I put my hand on Tom's shoulder, and I think our friend Anna was there too. Yeah. And we were just like, no, man, like it's not worth it. Like don't start a fight or whatever. And
that's what they're saying, but none of that's happening to me. I'm steady working.
It did happen because I.
Yeah. I remember doing that, and then suddenly. Yeah. We're not entirely sure how this happened because it was like super quick, but the guy got away from you somehow
because they pulled me off.
Yeah,
there was 5 of them that pulled me off, and he was starting to fall because his bell was so badly wrong. I think he was halfway knocked out, and we were fighting over a beer bottle. He was splashing that beer bottle on me, and I tried to grab the bottle from him because I was gonna break it over his head, you know. But then the next thing you know, they pulled him away, or no, he fell away. They pulled me off.
Pulled him off, and then he gets up. And
he gets off and attacks her.
I'm standing there, and I just look, and he full on like runs right into Jenny.
He like tackled me.
He tackled her. She hits the ground, and I'm just like,
I just fell. Like I went over on my back, and the dude's like on top of me, going like, what? Like
he's trying to beat her up.
I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? It happened like immediately.
And I got like 5 people holding me back.
Yeah.
One of them was a girl who's a friend of mine, this biker chick, who's cool. She's a goth biker chick. And she's trying to talk sense to me. I just fucking grab her and toss her. And go, fuck, get out of the way. I apologize later. Because the dude's on the ground beating up Jenny. By the time I fucking got, and it was only like 2 seconds of me breaking
I mean,
loose.
it seemed like a long time to me because I was like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did this happen just now?
As soon as I got loose and started heading towards him, a crowd of people just fucking whisked him away. They were also beating the shit out of him as they were taking him away.
Well, I gave him a good kick too after they had him down on the ground.
They just whisked him out real fast. Yeah.
Yeah, they carried him out. I saw that like bodily.
Right. And then I was just standing there, and fucking she's on the ground. So we picked her up, and I found a cell phone, and fucking everybody's.
I don't know whose cell phone that was. It wasn't mine.
And then all these.
They said it could have been his, and he just got thrown out.
Maybe.
It, so.
Then all these sycophants came and was kissing everybody's asses and fucking and then it was towards the end of the night.
It was like one, at least.
Yeah, it was like one something. Right. But yeah, like a couple of the goth chicks there, they kind of like pulled me over and they sat me down on the couch.
We were all worried about Jenny because like that wasn't fair. She was just dancing.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything.
And she's the only one that. Well, she was the only one on. She was the only one on our side that got hurt. I was totally unscathed.
Because you were prepared, and she's just like, what?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. And like the thing about it, like he's just on top, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? And like I didn't, I remember like putting my hand out like a claw, and because I was going for his eyeballs is what I was trying to do. And I think I got a thumb like in here or like up his nose or something like that. Yeah. And then like a bunch of people like, you know, because of, you know, some people that we knew were there and they just like pulled him all off.
Yeah. Now, later, what was his name? Not fucking eyeballs, but the other guy that was there. He says, man, I saw the whole thing, man. He says, what exactly happened? Because it was badass, man. It was badass. And he told me how it all happened. The reason why he attacked her is because I had rung his bell so badly, he thought that she was me. He thought he was fighting me.
Yeah, okay.
Gave him some false confidence. He thought he was winning. There was no winner in that boy. It was like fighting a cardboard cutout of a man. There wasn't any strength to him. Just.
Dave is here, and he says, that guy is a creepy fuck. I know exactly who you were talking about.
Yeah.
Long-haired, annoying douche.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Well, they said he was always in there doing shit.
Yeah. And he said because I was like, yeah, because I think this was after you had already left, Dave.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see you after. Yeah, he said I left early.
Yeah. Well, I folded him up pretty good. He won't be back, I don't think. If he comes back, just call me. I'll fold him up again. Because there's some unfinished business. I haven't paid him back for what he did to her. I'm going to break him.
Well, we looked for him after, because I said, if that bitch is still in the parking lot, I was like, either you're going to kill him or I'm going to.
Yeah, I was going to work him over some more.
But the door guy said no, he left.
Yeah.
Because we went out there and we were like, where is he?
Do you think they would recognize him? Just ban him from the place, you know?
They probably won't let him back in. But they get in, though. Because the guys at the door fucking, they're not thinking, and they go, oh, they forget that guy's not supposed to be here. They don't recognize him, that kind of shit.
You could, though. He's recognizable.
Yeah, I would
looks
probably.
Like a straight up creep. He literally looked like what you imagine a creep to look like.
I could just tell by his tone, the tone of his mannerisms.
I wasn't sure. Like, I didn't know if he was like really, really drunk or like high as balls or like both
I've been
or
fucking
something.
drunk as a motherfucker. I don't act like that.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying it's. I don't know what the fuck.
Nah, he had one warning. I set him back a few feet, and he came back up me trying to be friends. I clocked him. Pow.
Bottom line, you guys
I don't
said,
negotiate.
Like, some people are just too stupid.
Yeah.
They just don't, like, there's no, you can't, like, rationalize with them. It's like...
That's what I mean. I just kind of feel like I don't understand why so many people have such a hard time. Like, look, if I don't want to talk to you or I don't want you in my face, and I tell you, and I'll be polite the first time, you know, hey, no thanks, or hey, please. If you keep persisting,
that's it.
I'm going to hit you.
Or we were saying on the dance floor, how many times were we on the dance floor and some dude, like, is kind of dancing, like, closer and closer to you, and you can see it, and so you move yourself. You're like, okay.
Right, you're just like, all right.
You migrate a little bit, and he comes with you.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
It's like, I moved away from you for a reason.
I don't understand these guys. Don't understand body language. They don't know club culture. I mean, look, dudes are going to be dudes, but you have to be fucking stylish about your shit. I mean, you have to understand just the basic etiquette. You know what I mean? And alcohol doesn't matter. I'll be blasted, and I still remember basic etiquette. You don't grab a chick's ass. Unless she wants you to grab her ass.
I mean, that should be like happens, etiquette 101.
Right.
Like I said, keep your hands to yourself. Why is that hard? But it's like a lot of people really seem to have a hard time with that concept, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, and this ain't Pakistan. You know, I can understand fucking dudes that don't grow up in a Western society, you know what I mean? They fucking know how to behave. These are Western dudes, man. They're supposed to know fucking better.
And I feel like it's probably because they've gotten away with it so much that... You know what I mean? But it's like, I just hate the way that, because I've had situations too, like being in, you know, a long time ago, like at iBar or something like that, where it's just like, you get a dude like just coming up and like talking, and you're just like, you know, no, bro, it's like, I got things to do, or I got like, and they just keep on and they keep persisting. And finally you're just like, would you just go the fuck away? And then they won't. They just stand there. Yeah. And then they just keep wanting to talk to you. I'm like, dude, I don't have to talk to you. I don't owe you anything.
But I've seen dudes fucking in the past with Jenny from a distance walk up and ask to buy her a drink, and she say no, and the dude's fucking cool about it and just like, oh well, thank you, and then and then just that's it. That's
like
it.
I said, I'll be polite unless you come at me like real creepy or like real aggressive, then it'll go to hitting pretty quick.
Right.
But if you come up and you're like, hey, I'd like to buy you a drink or something like that, I'll be like, no thanks, I already have one or something like that, and they're just like, that's cool. Then and they go away, because I've had that happen too. It's like, yes, that is the correct thing to do.
Yeah, and you kind of, from my experience, you kind of want that to happen, because that makes your woman feel desired. You know what I mean? Her ego, it's good for their ego.
Said, I'm not...
That's what it is. And the thing is like, as a guy, I'm like, yeah, of course these other dudes fucking want my girlfriend.
I don't mind nice compliments.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's in the bathroom and some dude's like, oh, I like your outfit, or you look real nice, and then they keep walking.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like, I kind of
and
feel
that'll get you a lot further than hanging the fuck around. You see the dude later, then
thank you. Like, it's
yeah, I kind of feel like some dude, like especially dudes that already have that mindset, they're just like, oh, well, people get offended if you just give them a compliment or offer. But no, that's not what offends me. What offends me is if I say no, thank you, or you just keep persisting after I've made it clear that I don't want you around anymore. Yeah, that's when we're gonna have a problem. I'm not offended by you saying, oh, I like your hair, or oh, can I buy you a drink? And I say, oh no, thank you. So, oh, that's cool, and then they walk away. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm not offended by that in the least.
As a basic rule for you young whippersnappers out there, women really don't need compliments, because they get lots of them from other dudes. You just end up in an army of simps, and you're just another simp. if you do that. What's a lot better is if you just start a conversation or ask a question to some girl that has nothing to do with her or whether you look.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's a lot better.
Yeah, talk about the weirdest thing you can.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Just talk about regular shit.
Just
like it
shit.
would be cool if. Like, if I was single or something like that, I don't really like to be, like, picked up or approached or anything. But it's like, if you're going to be like that, like, if you're in Mannequins, for example, and they have, like, some videos where it's, like, clips of horror movies, like, if you came up and just said, oh, that's from Martin or whatever, it's like, did you see that? It's really good. And it's like, you've already established that, like, you're into, like, the same kind of shit as me. So, it might
music. I'm always like, music. If we're in the scene or you're reconnected over music, please talk about music. It's normal.
Yeah. It's like, it's just such a rookie mistake to just go up and be like,
oh, you're beautiful,
you're pretty,
man, get the fuck out of here. All I'm just saying is but basically all the dude's saying is I'd like to fuck you.
Well,
I'd fuck you.
Duh.
Yeah, my boyfriend would fuck you too. Just some stupid shit like that,
I'm like, dude. Oh, some dude I don't know,
thinks I'm great and
deems me acceptable.
Yeah,
my day is made.
Yeah, fucking the novelty of it.
I mean, I know I'm an old bat and I'm like, and I'm cranky, but you know what I mean? I don't like that kind of shit. But yeah, it's just, man, that was really something. I'm actually really glad because I think I did, obviously I didn't see it because I'm not outside my body, but I guess like everybody was freaking out because they said it looked like when I fell backward, they thought that I hit my head on the dance floor, which I think I did, but not enough to hurt. I think like what hurt when I got home was my hand. So I don't know if I fell on it or like it's okay, but it started getting really sore last night. And then I was like, oh, I must have fallen on that then.
Did it bruise at all? Or?
I don't think so. It was just like here, like right through there. And so I don't know how that happened. Maybe that was the thumb that I stuck in his, like, tried to stick in his eyeball.
Yeah.
I mean, John Smith said, "What's the old biker saying? Sometimes you have to show stupid the door, and sometimes you're the stupid being shown the door."
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope that guy does not come back. I don't even know if he remembers, like, what happened. He probably does not.
I mean,
I'm gonna remind him.
Like, yeah, if we see him around
I'll
again.
remind him.
But
he shouldn't show up again. There's no way.
He's down on the ground trying to beat her up, thinking it's me. I was like,
someone said his nose or his face was pretty fucked up. So
yeah.
One of you did something.
We didn't see him afterward, but it's like, because I was sitting there and somebody said, oh yeah, when we saw him, just saw him outside and his nose is all fucked up.
Yeah. That was the first thing I aimed for.
Yeah.
I busted him right in the nose as he walked up to me.
I don't know, man.
But that's, you guys were saying you were, like, that location of that club is why.
You know what I mean? What's open to the public. It's always, you never know what's going to happen in there.
Right, but you could get anybody
in there. Where we're going tonight is just us. Just our crowd.
Yeah.
That's out in the warehouse district.
Like I said,
you got to know where that is.
On purpose.
Yeah. There's no trouble there.
You don't get, like, people wandering in randomly. Right. Which, like I said, I think that's kind of the problem. And we were just talking about this before, too, is that some people that we know and stuff like that actually won't go to Mannequins anymore for that very reason, because it's like ooh, too many normies.
Yeah.
And like I get it, you know what I mean? Like I was talking to our friend earlier and he's just like, I don't even know why you guys still go there. It's just kind of like he's just like, it's just like frat boy blow up doll party time, like there all the time.
Yeah, it's getting more and more like that.
Yeah. And I said, as a matter of fact, I only just found out because I saw it on Facebook, but tonight they're having a blow up doll dance party. Bring your own blow-up doll and get a free drink. So I'm sure that's gonna go well.
You know exactly what you thought it was.
He did know exactly what he was talking.
What kind of music do you play for a blow-up doll?
I don't know. Like I said, Saturday nights, Friday nights is more goth industrial. Like he plays, like what did he play last night? He played like a bunch of old, like goth and 80s stuff. Like he did like The Cure and Depeche Mode and Peter Murphy and stuff like that. And then he did like played like Aesthetic Perfection and that kind of stuff. And then
like the Prodigy, he played like 2 songs.
Yeah, Prodigy. Right, yeah, he did a lot of that. And which he usually does. He usually does on Fridays. Saturdays, like, he'll play a little bit of that, and then he'll play some 80s, but then he'll just play, like, a bunch of random shit. Like, he'll play, it's like, I'm gonna do a disco set now. I'm gonna do some 90s hip-hop. I'm gonna do... So it's just kind of like... They used to call it What the Fuck Saturdays, but I don't think they call it that anymore. But it's just pretty much, like, everything. You know what I mean?
She's referring to Sophie.
Hey Trey, what's up?
Yeah.
I made it. Oh wow, hey Sophie. I lived near her for about 2 years.
He's another one that, like, there's a few of you that I'm friends with on Facebook. He's one of them. Yeah, because he's in Michigan, I think. Yeah, and he's like you guys' age or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he we always like talking about music and stuff because he knows all the same music and stuff as us.
Yeah.
So hi. I hope you survived the ice storm because that's what I left. Like it was.
And down here,
major power
like,
outages and.
She came down here and it was like 85 degrees. And we just found out that the air conditioning in my car is not working.
Yeah, it's that, what is that thing called again? What's that part called?
The air something.
Yeah. It's a little module, it's a little module that plugs in. You got to bolt it in behind the damn dashboard cover.
Yeah.
Not the dashboard, what do you call it? Glove box. Open the glove box, go in there. And it makes all the switches work to mix hot. And it just blows hot no matter what setting it's on.
Yeah, it's like the heat's on.
Yeah, you can't even, you put it on vent. It'd be cold outside. You're going to get hot air. So something's not switching. It's not changing. It's just staying on hot. But I hear the AC compressor kicking on. It sounds like it does when you put it on AC, but hot air doesn't blow. Something's confused in there. It blew a little bit of cold.
It wasn't cold. It was
just kind of cool.
It was ambient temperature.
So it's having a hard time mixing the two temperatures of air.
Yeah, what the fuck is that thing called? We were just looking at it.
Called air mixture.
Air something. Door something.
Yeah. It was the secondary air door mixer module.
Deal doohickey thing about.
It's only a $20 part.
So that's the technical term. Trey said, I'll be up there for the Sisters show in June. And probably the Cure later in the year. I'll be in Detroit multiple times. Everybody is. Holy crap. I just saw a thing, like, Psychedelic Furs are coming too.
Oh, it's not my show.
Go ahead.
Tom wants to be lazy in the back.
Well, then you can be the center of attention right there.
Yeah, that's what it is. He wants to be, like, between...
No, I'm going to sit back here like a king. All right.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Hugo says, "Hey Tom, offer Sophie something you drink."
No, I'm a Mormon, remember?
Yeah.
Just kidding, I'm not, but I don't drink alcohol or caffeine, so yes, I'm a Mormon.
She has what? She has water. I think.
I have water, yeah.
Yeah, she has water down there.
All good.
I mean,
She's a designated driver.
Yeah.
She drove us back last night.
Yes, that's the good part.
I was in the back seat fucking drunk. Feeling good.
He just got in a fight. We got
in two fights.
Injured woman. We got you seething back there wanting to murder some guy, and I'm like, okay, I'll get you home.
It was kind of funny. I mean, at least because I had pretty well sobered up by that point, like more or less, because you know, hitting the floor will do that to you. But
I tried to stop it. There wasn't enough time.
I know. Well, like I said, I didn't. But I didn't even know what the fuck was going on for a second.
Yeah, I just. They pulled him off of me, and fucking, I was like, "Where's Jen?" And I was like, "Who's that on the floor?" And I said, "Is that dude?" Who's underneath that dude? And I realized it was you.
Well, her wig, like he knocked her wig off, all the way across the floor.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. So there was that. I had to go find it. I was like, "Move out the way. We gotta find the wig."
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, I was like, "Wow, that's kind of like that's like one of those fucking trashy ass like." Yeah. TikTok reels or something like that where you just get like snatching people's wigs off.
Did you say it was like a fear you had too, like that it was?
Well, the weird thing about like last night when I was getting ready, because I couldn't decide. Like I did my hair and I was like, do I even want to fuck with my real hair or should I just put a wig on it and just say fuck it? And then I put the wig on and I was like, I don't know. Like, do I really want to wear a wig? I was like, and then I had a weird thing about like, what if it comes like, what if I gets pulled up, which is dumb because I wear wigs out all the time and I don't usually think about it. But for some reason, like, it occurred to me, but then I was like, fuck it, I don't feel like doing anything with my real hair, so I just, like, slapped a wig on. And then that happened.
Women worry about what's going to happen to the hair. That's like
luckily, I don't usually.
Your look, you got it on.
Yeah, you have it all. You have a whole gestalt happening.
How bad did it look?
I was like, at least my hair looked kind of normal, like underneath.
You were bald or like.
Yeah, like I did. Like it wasn't like all fucked up looking or greasy or it just was black. You know what I mean? And it was just black and down, and it was clean too, which it's not usually. But
so those two little that encounters, those two fights I had last night were the first two fights that I had since enhancement, HRT, enhancement, and all that training. Gained probably about 30, 40 pounds of muscle over the years, lost all that weight and shit. And I gotta tell you, there's no comparison. And I was on 400 mgs of fucking test and coming off of a Trent cycle. And I've been doing Masteron and all kinds of other stuff, which fucking increases like your muscle density and shit. No mortal man.
Okay, Tom.
No mortal man that is not on training or that is not training could ever stand.
That's why I'm like, I pity the fool that tried to push you push your buttons twice. Like, oh,
yeah,
oh.
That dude must have
Don't
been
mess with him, please.
Something.
The only way you could ever match a person on that shit or on gear and fucking at my level of development is that you'd have to be a trade fighter, like an MMA type guy, or you'd have to have a lot of mass. You'd have to be, 6'4", 6'2", and a decent weight, 240, But still, I'd probably wear that guy out. Because the first one was probably about 6'1", and it was like a cardboard cutout. I grabbed his neck, and it was just like mush. It was just, there's so much fat content in these guys. I mean, they're like 30% fat.
Just like the hamburger at the supermarket.
Lean beef.
I'm 13% fat. There's a big difference of being nearly 200 pounds and only 13% fat. That's about like what a leopard is. There's just no... Sorry. There's just no comparison. And
Tom's a leopard.
Yeah. And then
somebody edit the video and make him all spotty in the back. That would be funny.
They make that like tiger.
And so you have to be on gear or you have to be trading, and that's why they don't want them in sports because it's just not fair. It's not fair. It was like beating up children, and not an ounce of fear. Loved it. Loved every bit of it. Wanted to kill him.
That's why I was like, if he didn't leave after that, we would have ended up in like a police station. Like it could have gotten so much.
Because I was pretty mad too.
Much I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I was pretty mad.
I was seeing red, and I had alcohol in my system, but it didn't even matter. It's still about twice as fast as them, and twice the strength at least. Literally, it was like beating up a cardboard cutout made out of marshmallow or something.
Don't get so fucked up like the little guy where you're picking a fight with people you can't mess with. Like,
what are you saying?
No, the little dude. I'm just saying, like, he was so fucked up that like he's gonna pick a fight with you. Like, how delusional do you have to be?
He was bigger than me though.
Not maybe in height, but he was skinny. He had no muscle on him.
Didn't matter. These guys don't know anything. They can't look at a person and judge anything. They don't know anything, I grew up in the horse industry. I can look at a horse and tell you exactly what that horse is going to do just based on his fucking how much weight's on it, his definition and shit. That's kind of the way I look at dudes. I can size them up. They can't size anything up. It's if their eyeballs are higher than yours up off the ground, they think they can beat you. No, you got to look at my specs, dude. Fucking, I fucking weigh 20 pounds more than you and it's all muscle. On a shorter fucking frame with a lot more leverage and just a lot more density.
Plus, also you're kind of crazy.
Well, that's just part of it.
You're also like hyped to like level 11. You've been drinking. Yeah. You're sweating, sweaty Trent stink or whatever was going on yesterday.
Smell like a fucking gorilla.
He kept doing it. No, you didn't smell like a gorilla.
You said pizza.
I said you smell like an old onion pizza.
An onion pizza.
I said
stale.
I said you smell like an old onion pizza that's been sitting around for a while, but still edible. That's what I said.
Well, less edible as the night goes on, probably.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I'd still eat it, but you know what I mean? You did kind of smell like it. But there's worse things you could smell like. Because I think when you were on that other stuff, you smelled like really strange.
Yeah. Then we come back and don't have sex. I'm tearing it up.
We were up until like 4 in the morning.
And it never ended.
And then he tried
to
wake me up again at 7, and I was like, dude. And like he forgot to close the blinds too, so it was like super bright in there. I'm like, me. It's like I only got 3 hours of sleep, and I only got like 5 hours of sleep the night before. And we'd been out like all because I'd worked all day, and then we went out, and I was just like, I am fucking tired, man. Yeah. And so finally, I was just like, I have to go back to sleep. And then I slept till like almost 11, which is super super late for me. I don't hardly ever. So I was like, yay, that's awesome. Because I knew we were going out tonight too. So I was like, I'm not gonna drink that much tonight though, because Barbarella, they just have those kind of like little like bullshit gin and tonic in a can. White Claw type things. Yeah. And I usually just drink one of those, and then I'm like, and then I just get a bottle of water and then just refill it from the water machine, like at Barbarella. So that's what I do from there. I don't usually go there and like drink a lot. Wait,
Someone sent you money.
Yeah, I know. Thank you very much, Jeffy Art, for the super chat with the little good job, like little thing there.
Glasses or whatever.
Zach says Tom wants to have his boob harem on both sides. Yeah, that's probably... Yeah, see, Zach knows. Trey said, based on what I know of Tom from the show, he's one of the last people on Earth I'd pick a fight with. Insane someone would do that. Totally, yeah, I mean, you'd have to be, like, really, really clueless. Like I said, even if you didn't know you, like, people that know you know better, but I'm just saying it's like, even if people that didn't know you, I mean, clearly you look terrifying.
Like, you're ready to beat someone's ass.
And like I said, you're also kind of a crazy person. Yeah. And you would... I feel like... That's what kind of scares me a little bit, because I kind of feel like, you know, if we're out drinking and stuff and somebody does something really fucked up, and I get it because I feel like this too, but it's like you would probably just keep going until you killed the person if nobody stopped you.
I was, like I said, I was gonna break that bottle over his head and then use that stump to start grinding and cutting pieces of his face off, because I already had him in a. That was just what was coming to mind. I says I'm gonna cut his nose off, and I don't know if the bottle would have done it. But it would have.
You might have to saw it.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to scrape that shit off like some animal.
He's going to scrape his nose off.
Yeah, like some animal. That's
so he looks like a skeleton face for the rest. He looks like Red Skull the rest of his life.
Yeah, and what's her name? What's the little biker girl's name?
Anna.
Anna, yeah.
Yeah, we've known her forever.
She's trying to talk me down. Let him go. And I'm
well, yeah, I was too. I was just like, please don't don't get us kicked out or don't like start a big thing.
We need to get home tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't want to go to jail.
So I may have let him go, but then the next thing you'd know, he's beating you up because he thinks he's fighting you. He thinks he's fighting me.
Yeah.
So I had it right. I should have just sit there and just ground big pieces of his face off. Fucking that would have been that was actually the path to victory there. He'd have been in no shape after that.
Well, yeah, like I said.
Just like a paint scraper.
Just peel it off.
Just start peeling.
Like peeling off an orange peel.
Would be like bloody and.
I don't know.
We heard last time, and I don't think I told you this, but did Dave tell me this? Like the last time we were at Mannequins, that like somebody took a shit on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
I don't know.
Somebody else said no. That didn't happen.
The bartender said, she's like, I think that's an urban legend. Okay. She said, I think somebody just set off a stink bomb.
Yeah, okay.
But she's like, I think what happened is she's like, because it smelled really bad. We all had to like get out of here and everything like that. But she's like, I think maybe over time, like it evolved into like somebody. I don't think somebody actually like, squatted and took a shit on the dance floor. I think that maybe like, you know how sometimes people that are because you said people that are on heroin and stuff, like sometimes like a little turtle like just kind of like escape and just kind of like go down your pant leg, and so we were I was thinking maybe that's what happened, and then it's like then it gets like spread around, but I don't know if that's what happened or not, because the bartender she's like, I was here, she's like, I think it was like somebody set off a stink bomb. I don't think somebody like shit on the dance floor, and I guess she would know.
That would be absolutely terrible. Everyone's in their shoes just like
I would not. I would still be throwing up now, like if that had happened, because I'm even thinking about it.
You bring your nice goth boots home and they've got someone else's shit, like
right. It's like I even thinking about it, and then I was telling you a story like a long time ago about how I was in a grocery store and there was this like old man like in baggy pants in front of me like in the produce section, and like a turd like came out the bottom of his, and I was just like, and I was telling you that story and I was gagging thinking about it.
Yeah.
So just thinking about it. So maybe
what would make it worse is
maybe I should stop talking about it.
What would make it worse is it hits the floor and rolls a little bit, and then and then one of them blue bottle flies comes around and lands on it. That'd be real gross.
All right, I'm gonna heave to like okay seriously. Right. I mean, I'm not gonna heave, but I'll gag.
Like
for
you,
sure.
you watch all these movies, but the thought of like a turd rolling on someone's hand
No, see, well,
will break you. It'll break you.
I can that's, and I think I've brought this up before. Horror movies, I can watch the goriest shit and it's like, you know, cut people's heads off, peel their skin off. It's just like, it's fine. I'm like, woo, that's entertainment. You start doing shit about shit or vomit, no thanks. I'm out. I can't watch. I mean, I watched Human Centipede, but I kind of watched it like that. Because I was like, oh, this is too gross. It's too gross. Like, and even pee. I'm not real down in with, like, bodily fluids.
Pee is, like, the least threatening, though.
Yeah,
like,
it's
the fluids.
I can kind of get, but the second you start doing stuff with, like, poop or vomit, like, you know, because there's some scenes. Wasn't there that scene in, Audition, where they were, like, drinking from a bowl of vomit? It's like, yeah, no, thanks. No. I couldn't watch that part. But it's like, I can watch gory shit all day long. Like I said, you can rip out people's hearts. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But the second somebody starts, really all they have to do is like talk about poop. Like, you know, and then I start imagining it, and then I'll start like
really
gagging.
Good thing you never had kids then, because
I know.
Oh my God.
That might be one of the big reasons. I don't know if that's the main reason, but for sure that was up there in the top 10 reasons.
Because you won't avoid poop.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's just like a poop parade, like day in and day out. So, I have a cat, and
they're kind of gross too.
Like she's not gross.
Well, although her butt's getting stinky again.
Well, yeah. Yeah, she has that anal gland
thing.
That's
also gross.
She's doing that gland reaction.
Although I think she's okay. I mean, today, like the last couple days, like her butt hasn't been stinky, but it was like really stinky. She had to get like her anal.
There was one time she just walked by you, and she.
Well, yeah, you didn't have to. You didn't have to like go like not like I sniff her butt or anything like that. But yeah, but like she would just walk by and you'd smell it. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, you stink.
And I would go, you stink. And I'd like sniff towards her butt like that. And she'd look at me like, how dare you? Yeah, like Christopher Walken.
Like Christopher Walken in Communion. How dare you?
Fucking vacuum cleaner hose up his booty. That's a Christopher Walken fucking classic, man. That was one of the highlights of his career, was having that hose go up in his ass.
I've never seen the movie, but I've listened.
Oh, it's terrible.
But you've mentioned it on so many shows. Like, I feel like it's ingrained in my head, and I've never even seen it.
Thinking about that scene will never not make me laugh. I mean, that shit is just like you know what? I think I've said this before, but like the whole thing with like Christopher Walken being like, "How dare you?" Like, and it seemed like so over dramatic and yet under dramatic, like in regards to the situation. Like he's on an alien ship and they're putting a vacuum tube like up his ass, and it's just like the way he reacted was like really funny. But I think what made that scene much funnier for me was the fact that the aliens had the anal vacuum cleaner just like in the wall handy dandy, like so they could just like pull it out of the wall and like stick it up. And I'm just like, wow, that's convenient. And I don't know why that was so funny to me. Like, that was the funniest part of that scene to me. That the aliens just had that right there, just for such occasions. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess if you were an anal-probing alien race, then you would have these little conveniences in your spacecraft. Like, just right at the ready. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is. Trey says about you, he just has a don't fuck with me look about him. But yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of guys can't compute that because I'm only 5'6", so they have guys who are 5'10" and 11, and they think because their eyes are above mine, if we look at each other, that they've automatically won the fight, and that's not what it is, man. Because I'll just take you apart like a man takes a kite apart. If you're not in training, on fucking anabolics, and like sub fucking 15% body fat, and if you're not fucking jacked, you're not going to really stand a chance unless you're a heavyweight. And especially if you're not trained. Now, if you're fucking guy into MMA, you're a trained fighter. If you're natural, even though a lot of those guys aren't natural, I don't think any of those guys are. I don't think any athletes, especially pro athletes, they're not natural. They're just not on shit when they're fucking playing the game. In training, they're on all kinds of shit. That's how they get those size. But no, like I said, no mortal man really stands a chance, especially if he's untrained. If he's not lifting weights, if he's not a trained fighter, you just don't stand a chance. It'll just fucking go right through you. And if you're big, I'm just gonna use a different route to do it. You ever seen them fucking paintings, Frazetta paintings of Conan jumping on a damn giant with a dagger? And you look at him, it's kind of like the size differences, like a child fighting an adult. I can handle that. I can do that. Fucking no problem.
I can do that.
Because you're fucking, the chemicals that are in you and the hormones and shit, you're a kamikaze. It'd be like a 60-pound bobcat can fuck a fucking grown man up. It's gonna be like that. You know.
John Smith said, so no pink flamingos for you then. I have seen pink flamingos, but yeah, that scene I was just like, like the whole time, like through it. I felt like, because I love John Waters, so it's like I felt like I had to watch it, but and it's really good, but yeah, that scene was like I had a hard time. You know what I mean? I can do it, it's just I'll gag all the way through it. And then when I think about it later, I'll gag for a long time. Zach says, apropos of nothing, but I could use some grooming advice. My hair is thin, wavy, and got a ton of cowlicks. How do I make it not look like a rat's nest?
Shave it off.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, yeah.
Easy. Trey says, damn, I'm 6'3". I would tower over Tom. Mm-hmm. I'm skinny as fuck, though, he says.
See, the thing is, if you're fighting a taller guy, and that's why on that first one I just went in so close on him and slapped him. All right, because a taller guy has reach on you, and if you have the misfortune of running into a guy who's a trained fighter, he's gonna try to fucking stay back and sling his fists at you. And if he's making good connections with your head, he'll knock you out. But he can only do that from afar. You're going to get right up on him. That way he can't get a real powerful blow on you. He's just going to be doing body blows. And you have to take that fight to the ground. That'd be the best way. But you can just, there's no plan. No plan survives a fight. First time you get punched in the face or you're punching somebody else in the face, all the plans go out the window. It's like dancing. If you can dance real well, you can fight. It's very similar. And I didn't plan anything on what I did to that dude, and it was like fighting a child. And I guarantee you that dude couldn't dance.
Well, mostly what he did was lurk creepily, so
yeah.
I'm imagining probably not.
No, that's the other thing. Like, we're dancing. He wasn't dancing. He was kind of like walking through the, like, you don't do that.
It's like, Jesus Christ. No parking on the dance floor for one thing.
Right.
Like, don't just go there and stand there and talk, or like
Yeah.
stand there and look at your phone and like people trying to dance, move it. But it's like, also don't walk through. Like, what are you doing? Knock it off.
People that dance really well have very good mind-body connection. The connection between their mind and their body is very good. They're not thinking about dancing. They're just dancing, and it looks great. None of that shit's planned. It's just happening. That's the same thing with fighting. It's just you're not even thinking about it. It's all just unfolding, and you're doing the right things, and hopefully the other guy's doing the wrong things, and then you end up winning. But it's very similar to dancing. And if you're on gear, you're so much faster than other people. And I didn't get hit. I didn't even get a scratch on me. But if I did, it wouldn't have made much difference because I'm on stuff that are anti-inflammatories, so it's you never really get any brain swelling. Head injuries are really diminished. It's harder to knock somebody out when they're on steroids. It just is. That's why they take them.
We got another super chat. Thank you very much, Aaron. No real comment. Here's my monthly tip for all the great shows. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. Winterfell Forever said, yeah, I was on a train once, and a woman just squat and pissed her life away, almost in front of me. She was totally trashed, of course.
Okay.
Not the greatest experience. Yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen shit like that, like after the clubs have closed and things like that.
I saw some shit like that in Korea one time. I was just fucking walking down fucking street on Hooker Hill, on Itaewon, and some old lady fucking squatted over a grill and just started pissing. Couldn't see anything because she had that damn moo-moo on, like an old lady. She was pissing down in a grill.
Well, hey, that's a good place to do it.
In the gutter.
At least you didn't just pee on the side of a wall like a dude would.
Yeah.
At least it's going to the sewer.
She had one of those little fucking wheeled baskets that you put shopping in. You trail it behind you. What do you call those things?
Like a car. I don't know.
Like a wheeled cart.
Yeah, does it have a name?
I don't even think those things have a name. But she had one of those and it had her groceries in it. And she's sitting there pissing. Looking around, just smiling.
Well, because who's going to say anything to a little old lady? Like,
and they do that in Korea.
Yeah.
Or they did back in the day.
It's like, hey, gotta pee. You don't have time to find a bathroom. I don't have time for this nonsense.
She probably can't hold it. She's old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think they just did that in old Korea.
The world's your toilet.
Yeah.
I guess. Jen says, how's the new job going? It's pretty good. It's pretty low key. I think like it's just the commute is kind of a pain in the ass, but other than that, it's fine. Trey said, actually, I saw a woman do that in Detroit once. My girlfriend started yelling at her about it too. It was in Auburn Hills.
That's not that far. Like,
yeah.
it's not like trashy. Like Pontiac's next to Auburn Hills, and that's a little sketchy. But Auburn Hills, no one should be pissing.
I kind of feel like I've never seen this happen in real life, but you kind of see. I remember this one picture that I saw one time of this really, really drunk girl, and she'd fallen asleep like in someone's yard and had like shit herself.
Yeah.
So there was that. I was like, wow, I bet she was like really embarrassed the next morning, and like picture was all over the internet, so I'm sure that was great. So you're gonna do like drunk, fucked up shit like that. Make sure nobody takes a picture of you and post it online, so people make a meme about it.
Well, now everyone has their phone out, so. You're doing anything like that, you're probably going to end up online.
I know, I figure. Well, it occurred to me this morning, I was like, I wonder if anybody filmed that shit last night, because there was a bunch of people there.
Yeah, so. What if you're going to be like, go
viral? So, man, after the shit I asked you to do, did I look good?
Well, we'll be able...
I said, did I look good? My form okay? And he goes,
well, I wanted to see... Because I wanted to see it, like, what happened exactly. Yeah. Because, like I said, I wasn't, like, involved in the first part of it. And, like, all of a sudden... So I really wanted to see, like, what happened.
Here's the thing. That one I didn't think was going to go sideways like that. Because, like you said, the dude that was involved...
Yeah.
When I pushed him back...
Any normal person would
figured would just go, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because he didn't look like the kind of guy that would question my decision.
But I think he was not all with it, and that's why.
Yeah.
Like, he questioned it because he was so inebriated.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he seemed like... Senor Stick says, isn't Sidetracks on Friday? Usually it is, yeah. But we went to Mannequins last night, and I worked all day, and we didn't have time to do the show, so I announced earlier... Well, I think we said on the regular show on Wednesday that we were moving it to Saturday, just because it's easier. It was easier for us because I was like worn out, you know what I mean?
Give her a break. That's like if you go out, that's like a whole day of work, a show, and going out every Friday. Yeah. That'd be rough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't go out every Friday, but we usually go out like once or twice a month. But I can do it. It's like, honestly, I was kind of impressed with myself last night because I was still awake at 4 a.m. and I had been up since a little before 5 a.m.
Yeah. So you were almost up for 24 hours.
Yeah, and so I was up all day.
Yeah.
And, well, you don't usually, but you woke up the same time as me.
Yeah.
So I worked all day, drove an hour there and an hour back, and then came here, ate dinner, got ready, and then we went out, and then got beat up by a random dude. And, then came home and we watched Dan Bell and ate some snacks and fell asleep at like 4 a.m. And then Tom tried to wake me up at 7 o'clock in the morning again.
Yeah.
Grabbing my boob.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Yeah.
God, please let me sleep. And please get up and close the blinds. I can't sleep in the... He doesn't care. Like, he can sleep in the middle of the day.
That's what I've noticed.
He can sleep in the light.
I can't.
Tell me,
oh, just nap at 1. Just nap at 6.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I can sleep on command.
I would like to. I'd like to be able to sleep in the daytime, but one, it's too bright. It's too hot. And if I sleep during the day, I always wake up feeling like really weird and like groggy. I don't know. I don't really like that feeling. I don't feel like refreshed or anything. I always wake up and be like, oh, I feel like kind of fucked up. Like my schedule's all messed up. So usually I'll just stay awake even if I'm really tired. And then I'll just go to bed like a little early. Like it's like, oh, I'll try to go to bed at 9:30 or 10 or whatever. And, but yeah, last night, it's weird because I was tired, but I kind of got my second wind, so I wasn't feeling really, really tired. And even then, like, at whatever time it was, like 3:34 in the morning, when we finally, like, laid down, I was just, it took me, a little while to fall asleep, too. I guess because I was thinking about, like, the fight and everything. And then I think that's when it occurred to me that it's like, oh, I wonder if anybody filmed it, like, with their phone.
It happened so fast, though. Like,
yeah, I don't know if anybody really had time.
I don't even think most people knew what was going on, because it just, like, it kind of looked like a pile, because everyone jumped on them, and it was, like, a bunch of people in this corner, and then you, and then everyone was worried about you, and it just, it wasn't that easy to get.
Yeah. It was just weird. I mean, the one thing, and some of the people that were, like, coming over and, like, some of them I've seen them before, but I don't really know them that well, but that was kind of cool that, like, everybody just, like, herded me, like, carefully. I was just like, I was like, seriously, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm seriously, I'm fine. I was just worried
that you hit your head, and you said you kind of did.
Yeah, I kind of did, but it didn't hurt. Like, and my hand didn't hurt until later. Like, in the car, I started noticing that my hand was really sore. So I said, oh, maybe I landed on that, or maybe I stuck it in his face or something. I don't really know. But yeah, so everybody was like, really, can we buy you a drink? Do you want some water? It's like, I just like, dude, I'm fine. I just, I said, I didn't really know what happened. It was just, I said, I'm just more surprised than anything. Because it's just like, didn't expect things to go that way. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Mrs. Evans' arty party said, I stayed with my aunt in NOLA when I was 14 and learned all about why the businesses hose off the sidewalks in the morning. Ew. Trey says, I can't sleep in a room with an open door or the blinds open.
It's weird.
I don't mind the door being open. Because we just usually leave ours open, like the bedroom door, but I can't sleep because if the blinds are open, like especially on the weekend, I'm always like, please close the blinds because otherwise I will wake up as soon as the sun comes up.
If you want to put me to sleep quick, put me outside with a rucksack and a uniform on some kind of military airfield where you have fucking jet turbines going. I will fucking go to sleep instantly. I love it. I love the sound of fucking jet turbines.
You need like maybe like they do those like white noise channels. Like maybe there's like a jet turbine channel. And you just type
I'm sure there's got
like a loop 2 hours and you just
it's like white noise. I just fucking love it, and it's like it's associated with such good memories of being like with your friends, and in different places of the world. You know what I mean? Loading the choppers up, waiting for the choppers to come, and just shit like that. I just fucking love it.
I mean, and another thing too is that you can sleep because you always like to have your earbuds in.
Yeah, I have to have noise.
And you have to have noise, and I do not like having noise. I can't sleep. Like, if really the slightest noise will wake me up. Like, I'll hear Pookie scratching and be like, what was that? You know what I mean? So, I like to have quiet. Like, but I have like a column fan, like on the, what do you call that thing that's next to your bed? The nightstand. Yeah, that's it. And that kind of makes just like a fan noise, and that's nice. But other than that, I don't like any kind of noise. Yeah. I don't like it. Now, if I'm really tired, I can fall asleep, like, if I'm watching a show or a movie
music,
or something.
like quiet classical music or something like that. Like, that's good. But, like, a lot of talking or, like, something you could be invested in is kind of like...
Yeah, I can't really listen. I can't, like, listen to a podcast or anything like that. Because, like, a lot of times I'll be either paying attention to that or it's too distracting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of my early development, in the infantry and airborne units and stuff, noise is always associated with safety. Silence is always associated with danger.
I get that, but see, I like it to be quiet because
not
then
dead silent, but
yeah. Well, I like it to be quiet because then it's like, oh, what if Pookie needs something in the night, or what if somebody breaks in or something like that. Like, I want to be able to hear if something goes wrong, but you know what I mean. And like, I feel like if I was listening to noise, it would drown that out. So I guess that's why. John Smith said, since turning 40, I count myself lucky if I sleep 6 hours a night, though sometimes I'll sleep 7 to 8 and it feels like a tease.
It's a little test.
Well, no, I mean, I have noticed that I've slept a lot less, like, as I've gotten older. Like, I'm still tired, but I kind of feel like, I don't know. I was telling Tom last night, I was like, I'm just kind of used to being kind of tired, like, all the time. You know what I mean?
In a man It's a sign of low test. Start injecting. It's, at your age, you need to be on test anyway. Sleep like a baby. You eat, and then you want to be like a lion and just lay around. And then you want to fucking go do some shit.
For a minute.
For like and then an hour.
And then, and then you go lay back down again.
Yeah, you lay back down with your belly in the sun, looking up, going, and then looking at the females and going, yeah. Just like a lion. It's exactly like that.
Watching the females do all the work.
You're like, yeah. It's kind of like injecting morphine and sex into your veins. It's like that. And love. You'd become a big friendly lion.
Yeah, lions are super friendly.
Oh, lions are very friendly. Watch them. They're very friendly.
Not to
They make good pets.
Not to humans.
They make good pets, man.
Well, I guess.
There are people that own them, and you look at them, and they're fucking lovey and shit, and fucking.
Just like a really big kitty.
Like they're friendly.
If you raise them from kittens,
hand raise them
I'd
around
imagine.
people. Yeah.
Are baby lions still called kittens? No, I guess they're called cubs, aren't they?
I think.
Duh.
Unless they're different when they're newborn. I don't know. Some
Yeah.
animals have like stages where it's like they're newborn and then they're young or something.
Yeah. Trey says, I have to sleep with a fan running too. Yeah, I mean, I got the fan. It's not so... I like the noise that it makes. It's like, but I got it mostly because for whatever reason, like, it's kind of stuffy in that room, which is weird because the office is usually like freezing cold. But the bedroom is for some reason kind of warm. And so I always have to have like air blowing on me because I can't stand being fucking warm. I hate it. Zach said, I slept so good last night I woke up drooling. He said, also, I like Sophie's necklace.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is cool, isn't it?
I threw it on real quick because like we're not totally ready to go out, but
yeah, it's like
Jenny was like, just do your face, like be like mostly ready.
Yeah. Because then we don't have to leave for like an hour and a half. It's only 7:30 and we don't have to leave till 9. It doesn't even open till 9:30. So
we probably should shut the show down in about a half hour though.
Yeah, we probably yeah, because then we have an hour to like get outfits ready and shit like that. But like it's a lot more low key because it takes a while for everybody to get there, and although we haven't been on a Saturday night in a while. Yeah. It's been a few months since we've been on a Saturday night.
And this is like our crowd. We know all these people. We've known most of these people for fucking long, 10 years at least. That's who's going to be there where we're going tonight.
Yeah, so hopefully.
Yeah, that's like our peeps.
It won't be a bunch of random ass.
There's always people, they bring guests, people you've never seen before, but the core audience is all people we know. The core clientele is people we know.
See, but that, I mean, I don't know. I was just saying, I was telling our friend Dimitri about like the shit that happened at Mannequins last night. I said, this is why you don't allow normies to like walk around unsupervised in civilization because
stop it.
They can't. Because they can't be trusted to behave. They don't know how to behave.
Do we need the rules like posted on the wall like school? Like rules of the dance floor.
They probably can't read.
You never know what's going to happen or who's going to go in there. And there's just people of all kinds. And some dudes are just, especially today, even though Florida's I think a good place to be a guy, there's guys today that just don't have a lot of fucking experience with women and how to behave inside of clubs around women. They saw it on television, woohoo, and then some of the other places, are just filled with people that are like that. So it's
all the woohoo people.
So they show up with bad attitudes,
And you can tell the second they walk in the door. You can tell who's going to be trouble.
Yeah. Well, like subculture-based clubs are not like that at all. They'll show some shit like that in a movie, but they portray it in a fucking erroneously.
Yeah, that's not what it's really
portray it as where
like.
Bad people are. No, they're not like that either.
That's what's hilarious. And I feel like they did that a lot in the 80s. Like, whenever, like, they had, like, the kind of yuppie protagonist, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go to, like, the seedy part of town. Yeah. And then you go to, like, some punk rock bar, and everyone was, like, an asshole, and they were all, like, rude and spitting at him and stuff. I'm like, that's not how that works.
No, real friendly.
Well, that's how it wasn't. We're in like schools. The bullies were always like punk kids and stuff too, and it's like
they were always like the villains.
Punk kids and we're fine. So.
I mean, it was the little snotty rich kids that were the assholes. They were the ones that were picking on us, not the other way around. It was So I kind of feel like maybe, and I don't know. We don't know like what other kind of clubs these people go to. But maybe that's acceptable there. Like, maybe that flies. Like, maybe that's how everyone acts there, which is why I probably never go there ever in my life. Because I don't want to be around that mess, But it's kind of a different thing, man.
Subculture, clubs, the people, when you go in there, that's a scene. Those people all know each other. You can't really just come in as a stranger and try to throw your weight around. You might as well just try to join a cult and start at the top. It doesn't work that way. It's going to take years of you being in there, looking the right way, doing the right things, and meeting the right people to work your way up into that scene. A lot of the guys will start there because they like, in the goth scenes, because they like goth girls. Who wouldn't? They got, depending on what year it is, sometimes the good ones go and be replaced by bad ones, but then good ones come back. And sometimes,
the good ones.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. Some scenes, it's nothing but fat girls, or fat guys, or hot girls and fucking real doggy dudes. Didn't you say Michigan was kind of like that?
Michigan,
Yeah.
I'm not really in a scene. But when I go to shows, or the few times I have gone to clubs, it's like, I don't know.
Well, you went to a goth club there, though.
Well, I went to a show.
It was a show.
Yeah, it was
The
a
show
show,
at a goth club.
but at the goth club. But
Okay.
you get that crowd, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, I'll talk to him and be, ooh, find some people. And you don't understand. Like,
It's different up there.
it's,
I lived there,
They're probably really nice people, but it's not what you think it is.
Back in the late 80s, I was living in Detroit. And I would go to, like, St. Andrews Hall, the Shelter, City Club later on, but that wasn't opened up until, maybe it was open. Yeah, I guess that was open. Man, it was hotties, man. And they were death rock girls at that time when they were
My favorite.
They were 10 years older than me when I was showing up. And I was a pipsqueak, new to the scene, didn't have a chance. First time I saw those fucking sluts in those damn fish nets and all ripped, it looked like some of a specimen. Remember that?
Yeah.
It looked like that, or alien sex fiend or something.
Man, I love
My
that
mind
shit.
was blown.
I love that
I was
shit.
just like, oh man. I was listening to Sisters of Mercy and stuff at that time, but I didn't know about death rock.
Yeah.
You know.
Even though it's adjacent. Yeah,
It's
well,
adjacent
because
to it,
I
know
feel like
about it.
Sisters of Mercy are kind of, even back then, were kind of like a lot more accessible than, you know, stuff like Batcave or Death Rock or something like that. Like, a lot of people didn't know about that kind of shit.
And those girls were older than me. I didn't even stand a chance. You know what I mean? But that's where my beginnings, that's where I started. And this is in the time when if you watch the movie The Crow, that's the world they're talking about. That's taking place in Detroit. In a kind of a slightly fictionalized Detroit. But that's kind of the way the scene was.
Thank you, Gramthars.
Like
gave us a super chat.
Damn,
Says
Grams.
Michigan in the house.
Yeah.
But in the late 80s, Detroit had a fantastic, and in the 90s too, I went back and checked it like around 95 or 94. I went to City Club, and it was still good. Hotties, man. A lot of them.
I always like the death rock aesthetic is probably my favorite still.
Yeah.
Like after all this time, honestly, one of the best times I ever had, like just in general, as far as like the scene is concerned, is when I went to the Drop Dead Festival in New York City. This is back in 2008. I went 2 years in a row, and it was like a 3-day death rock festival, and it was in a club that was like 3 stories. So like on the bottom in the basement they had like DJs, and then they had bands like on both floors, so you could go back and forth. And not only were all the bands fucking amazing, like I saw Nina Hagen, I saw like all Skeletal Family, I saw like all these old Cinema Strange, and they had like all these really good bands, but they also everybody that came there looked fabulous, and they all like made their own shit, because death rock's very DIY still. So
Cut up fish nets.
yeah, everybody
cool
had made their
clothes.
own jackets, like
Yeah.
with all these. It's like, and they just had all the big fucking mohawks and all
Mohawks
this
or
like.
faux hawks or
Yeah,
any
it's
kind
look.
of
They all looked
Chelsea
amazing.
haircuts.
They all looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I tried to do good too, but I was just kind of like, I was like, I paled in comparison. Like everybody looked super awesome.
For those of you who don't know the motif or the style of what we're talking about, imagine if a vampire was a punk rocker and a hooker. That's what they looked like. That's what they looked like.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to say, but I think that's kind of my favorite sub-genre, is probably like, I really like that kind of grungy, like post-punk death rock stuff, like from the 70s to the early 80s. Like one of my favorite, I just got Spotify because like I said, you know, I have to drive back and forth, like, and I was like, I need music. And I have, you guys, my car is so old that it has a cassette player. For you children, we used to have music on these little plastic things that had like tape in them. But yeah, so my car had a cassette player, and you have to buy this thing at AutoZone for like $10, and it's a cassette. You put it in there, and then it has like a little cord, and you hook it up to your phone so you can play.
Is there one?
Spotify.
Because my first car was like a 90s car too, but like I remember, isn't there one you can just plug the aux cord in though? Like. There might be that. Like, you could put the aux cord and then the other end plugs into your phone. Maybe.
Yeah. But that, that's, I think there's one you can hook into the cigarette lighter, too. Yeah. But I think the cigarette lighter in my car does not work. Oh. So that's why.
We're going to get rid of that car soon.
Well, I mean, don't tell her that, because then, don't let the car hear you, because then she'll, like,
she's going to start dumping more on you. She's like, oh, you want the AC? Okay, what else can we break?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just going to be, like, I'm always just, like, don't jinx. I always try to talk nice to the car when I'm in there, because, you know, like, now that I'm doing that big long drive and everything, I'm just like, come on, baby, you're my favorite. Let's, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I got, where was I going with that? Okay, yeah, I got Spotify, and honestly, my favorite, because you know how they do, like, the little, you know, little playlists or whatever.
I'm a big Spotify person, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they have a little playlist thing, and my favorite thing that I found so far was that I went, because you guys know I love The Birthday Party, which was Nick Cave's old band. And so they have, like, a whole playlist of them, but then they have another one that's called The Birthday Party Radio, which plays some of their songs, but also associated bands or bands that are kind of like them.
The radio thing, you can click any song or any artist. Like, there's always a button, whatever it is, you can make a radio station off anything.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, that has been my favorite so far. Because it plays a lot of Birthday Party, obviously, but it also plays, like, Crime in the City Solution. It also plays, like, These Immortal Souls. I think there was some Einstürzen and Neubauten on there. And just, like, but there's Susie and the Banshees and, like, all this other, and Creatures and stuff. So I really, really liked the mix of that, you know? Like, the early alternative one is good, too, because that was kind of, like, that had, like, Lou Reed and David Bowie and Bauhaus and...
You gotta make your own playlist. That's what
I went through and, like, I picked a bunch of bands, but I haven't really had time.
And, yeah, I know. You can waste a lot of time on there just making playlists and doing stuff. So.
Trey says 45 Grave. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I love 45 Grave. Yeah, they're actually one of the bands that I put on there. They were LA death rock. Because I kind of feel like... Well, in England, they called it Bat Cave because that was the name of the club where, like, Specimen played and Alien Sex Beam played and stuff like that. So they called the genre Bat Cave for a while. So I kind of feel like death rock was maybe... I can't really remember... Like, I kind of remember this happening, but I was not that old. But I kind of think the term death rock was maybe more applied to the LA scene, which was like Christian Death and 45 Grave and stuff. But I don't know. Now I think it's just kind of... Because I feel like in the... early to mid 2000s, I feel like death rock had kind of a little bit of a resurgence. That was when the Drop Dead Festival was going on. I think they moved it to Europe later on, but they had it in the U.S. They had it in California, and then they had it in New York in 2 years. But, you know, there was a lot of, like, newer death rock kind of bands coming out. Like I said, like Cinema Strange came out in the early 2000s, and yeah, like Bloody Dead and Sexy, and you know, bands like that. So Frank the Baptist, stuff like that, which were all like really, really good. That sounded a lot like stuff from like the old days. Trey says that first Christian Death LP is a fucking landmark in death rock. It is indeed. It is. Christian Death are awesome. I saw them live once, but that was after. I want to say it was after Roz Williams died. What year did he die?
That was 98.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
I think it was 98.
Well, wait. When did I see them though?
Do you want me to just Google it? Whenever I like listen to your shows and there's these moments, I'm always just like, let me help you. I have my phone.
I know, it's like, if I wasn't stupid, I would probably just, like, because my phone's just right over there, I could probably just bring it over and, like, Google stuff when I needed to.
He did die in 1998.
Okay.
In April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was April Fool's Day, but I couldn't remember, like, what year it was.
Committed suicide, hung himself.
But I can't remember when I saw them. It was me and my brother and somebody else, and we went to, I think it was at Visage or The Edge or one of the places in Orlando that's not there anymore.
You know Javier?
Yeah.
He was dating him.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Yeah.
Like, at the time that he died?
Before.
Oh, okay.
Before.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Roz Williams was bi.
Yeah.
Preferred women, though. But a friend of mine was a real good-looking goth guy. He's a pretty famous DJ right now. I ain't gonna call him. Well, I just said his name was Javier.
Well, I'm not gonna call him out, even though I just said his name.
He goes by his DJ name on the
That's
lineup,
right.
so they won't know.
Yeah. He's got a boyfriend. He's basically married now. So that's all. That was all ancient history. But no, he was. Let's just say he was hanging out with Roz for a while there.
I felt bad for Roz.
Yeah, heroin got him, and it just fucked up his career, and he killed himself over it. And he was great, man. He was like the gothic David Bowie. He sounded just like David Bowie to me. David Bowie with a much harder edge, kind of sinister sounding. Really good lyrics. Real good lyrics.
Yeah.
But Jatan Damone was good too when she got into Christian Death. They did some stuff together. I even kind of begrudgingly started to like some Valor stuff. It's just that, man, when I associate Roz Williams' voice with Christian Death, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I had some of that Valor albums too, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. We were kind of mad about it at the time.
Yeah.
But we were kind of mad about it.
It's not Roz.
God damn it, you're not Roz.
Yeah. And
knock
the
it
album
off.
wouldn't say on the outside who was singing. You had to take a chance and just buy the album. And you go, oh, it's fucking Roz. Yeah.
You're like, you mean it's Valor, yeah.
Yeah, Valor, yeah.
John Smith said, speaking of punk, is anyone else amazed at the Cramps getting mainstream success thanks to Wednesday? Yeah, I didn't watch the show like until a little bit after, but my sister had already told me, she's like, oh, there's a Cramps song in there, you're gonna really dig it. And so I already knew like what was coming, but at that point, like I'd already been at Mannequins one night and he had played Goo Goo Muck, and I was just kind of like, oh, awesome, because like he plays the Cramps sometimes, like not usually that song, but he usually plays other ones. And so I was just like, oh, awesome. So I didn't think anything about it. But then like once I watched the show, I was like, oh, that's why. That's also why he started playing Running Up That Hill all the time, because it was on Stranger Things. And I was just kind of like, now I'm like conflicted, because I'm like, well, shit, I love this song, but it's like, I've known this song since the 80s, and it's like, now it's going to look like, oh, I know it because of Stranger Things. I'm just like, now, oh. And it's like, these are the problems that we have.
All those songs, if you go on like YouTube or something, the comments are always like, who was here before? Whatever,
yeah.
Whatever the show is, you know. Yeah.
I know, it's like, I like the song from the 80s. It's like, it's awesome that it's like getting play now because of Stranger Things, and I really liked like the scene that they used it in, because I did see Stranger Things this season. But in a way, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, because now it's like everybody's like, ooh, everybody knows that song now, and I'm just like, oh, now
It happened with the Metallica song that's in Stranger Things too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I know that's like not your genre, but the same thing happened where it's like, oh god, like.
It's like, I don't know what to do. And it's like I was thinking about this last night too, because when we were at Mannequins and he played like a couple of Marilyn Manson songs, and you know, I know a lot of people, especially people that got into goth in the 90s. And, you know, a lot of people were into Marilyn Manson. And I was like, and I was telling her, I was like, you have to understand that, like, the people that have been into it since the 80s, we were so mad at Marilyn Manson. I was like, you ruined everything. Like, why did you do that? So it's like, even now, now, like, obviously he's a tool because, like, all the shit that came out about shit that he did. But I'm just kind of like, even back then, I was just kind of like, bro, just why did you have to do? Why? So now everybody... Because for a while in the 90s, like, if you looked like a goth, everybody's like, oh, Marilyn Manson. I'm like, I don't even listen to that. It's like, what the fuck? I listen to a bunch of shit you don't know.
That's kind of, honestly, the Wednesday thing now. Like, I've not watched that show, but, like...
It's a good show. I liked it.
You're going to get a lot of that, too. Like, any girl that looks anything kind of... If you wear a dress or you do anything, it's like, oh, it's Wednesday. No,
yeah.
No.
And I'm always... Yeah, and I've been through it so many times. Yeah. Like, in the 80s, everyone was like, hey, Beetlejuice. And I was like, no, I looked like this before Beetlejuice came out. And then it was, hey, The Matrix. And I was like, no, I looked like this before The Matrix came out. And it's just, so every time it's like, it's always, you just have to explain.
Or Tim Burton, if you did anything that was like, oh, you look like a Tim Burton character or something.
And that was crazy because I remember, because when did Beetlejuice come out? 1988. And I remember going to see a movie, I don't remember what movie it was though, and seeing the trailer for Beetlejuice. And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Can that really be a real movie? And I was just like, wow, I don't know how to feel about that. And so, like, I went to see it, and I was like, oh, awesome. But I was like, wait, now, shit. And then it was, like, a big hit. And I was like, it was awesome because it was kind of the first time, I don't know if it was the first time, but it's the first time that you saw like an actual sort of accurate goth character that was portrayed sympathetically and like a real person. And we hadn't really seen that like up to that point. So I was like, wow, it was like kind of mind blowing.
Or that she was like not normal, but like sympathetic. Like,
yeah, she was just like a regular person, and it's like, and she was like a cool character. Like she was a little bit exaggerated like for the movie, obviously, but you know, because most real goths don't sit there and go, my whole life is a dark room. Although that was like,
you
really
know
funny.
what? Yeah.
I mean, but that was like meant to be funny, so I was just like, okay, I got you. And it's like, well, I guess I didn't mind it as much because Tim Burton, you know, he grew up in that scene too, so he was familiar with all that.
You're
kind
allowed
of stuff.
to make fun of it if you're in this.
So yeah, so it's like I kind of feel like you're kind of allowed to poke fun because he knew that like other people that were into it would think it was funny, and like we did because I was just like, oh yeah, that is pretty funny, even though I never knew a goth in real life that was like that. They're not super depressed. Even though that seems to be, I don't know about nowadays, but I kind of feel like back in the old days, that was like kind of the main stereotype that people had about them. That they were just like
Satanists.
Yeah, well, I got that.
You're either
like,
really depressed and suicidal or Satanist.
or why not both?
Or both.
Yeah, you're a depressed Satanist. But I was like, really? No, not any more than anybody else. I don't think.
I remember like in the 90s, like around 95, 96, you started to get what they call perky goth. Remember that?
Yeah, not fondly, but yeah, I remember.
Oh no, I thought it was good because they were mixing it with things like hip hop and trip hop, and then you had Switchblade Symphony, which that's what that was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good twist on it.
Yeah,
they
I
wore
guess.
Colors. You know what I mean?
I did like Switchblade. I do
hair.
like Switchblade Symphony though.
Yeah, and it was kind of like real old Susie, the way certain songs were written. You know, like things kind of sounded like Spellbound, but then they would put kind of like trip hop fucking drum beat behind it, so it was better to dance to on a dance floor. Wearing white, red hair, white hair. I remember when that shit first appeared, and fucking people just were calling that shit perky goth. But that's mainstream goth now. Blue hair, red hair.
Now everybody's got
honestly, anything goes with the scene.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I mean. You can get away with it, which is weird because like back in the day, you had to be really careful. Like people that were in the scene, it's like, oh, I have to get a job. I have to get a job, and I have to cover up all my tattoos. I have to dye my hair. I can't wear the makeup I normally wear. Like you had to really, really tone it down. But like now, I feel like nobody cares, which in a way is good. But
well, the older people died off. And
that's true.
Corporate
the people
jobs,
that complained about it.
Yeah, corporate jobs were worried about lawsuits, so you just overwhelmed the system.
Or you just like don't have a choice, because I think like tattoos. I think I heard it's like 40-something% of the population has at least one.
Yeah, like lots of.
So
people
like, who are you gonna hire if like
which
half
is
the
crazy?
People, like...
Yeah, because when I got my first one, like the tattoo artist is like, "You sure you want it on your arm?"
Yeah,
it's
don't
like,
you want to hide it somewhere else?
Yeah, don't you want it somewhere where you can hide it? Like, well, you can hide it on your arm because you can wear long sleeves. But I was just kind of like, no, it's
You're
fine.
also a graphic artist.
Yeah,
like,
so I can get away with a little bit more. Louis says, my older cousin was into a death rock group called the Super Heroines. Yeah, they're really good. I like them too. Trey said, I love the Cramps, man. I was listening to them at Social Distortion today at work. I love the Cramps too. And Social Distortion are also pretty awesome. Winterfell Forever said, Nina Hagen was a fucking cool witch from hell. Is she alive still?
Yeah, she
I think she is, yeah. Yeah, I saw her
crazy.
and
That girl was crazy. Man.
Yeah, when I saw her, she was crazy, but like, but it was an awesome show though. She was fucking great.
Her?
Who is it?
Nina Hagen.
Maybe.
We'll show you some Nina Hagen. That bitch is crazy. She's funny.
Yeah, when I saw her live, she was great. Louis also said didn't recognize Sophie with the blonde hair.
This
Hi,
is
Sophie.
my real hair. This is real as it gets. Yeah.
She's a honky ice princess from
That is true.
all its Scandinavian bloodlines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swedish
last
farm
name
girl.
like
yeah.
Benjaminson.
Yeah,
you can't
that's
get any
Norwegian.
whiter than
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't get any whiter than that.
Yeah.
Gramthars says, how does Mannequins compare with Club Luna? I know Luna is closed now, but that's the only goth club in Michigan.
Okay, I've never been to Club Luna because also, like, I don't know if y'all know, like, I'm kind of a millennial. Like, I'm only 31, so I just float around between the generations. I'm not a baby, but I'm not, like, on their level. So, like, Luna...
We're not old. She means our level. I'm not old.
She's like, I'm not old like these old fuckers.
Like, you've been all these places and stuff. Yeah. So, like, I have never heard... I think I've heard of Luna, but I feel like it was a dance club. Like, if it was a goth club, it was way before my time. But no, I've never been there, so no idea.
Yeah. I don't know if Gramthars was here when we talked about, like, being at Mannequins last night and getting in 2 fights, but...
Yeah.
Listen to the beginning. Listen to the beginning part.
Yeah. Got to 2 fights. Scored 2 victories, no losses. Except Jenny got hurt. Rang the dude's bell so bad that fucking on his way down and his way back up, he started beating her up thinking it was me. That's how fucking badly I had him fucked up.
It was special.
And then afterwards, I went out looking for him, but he was gone.
Kaylin Higgins said, was Beetlejuice Winona Ryder's first movie? I think her first movie might have been Lucas when she was a teenager still. But wasn't Corey Haim in that? I kind of feel like Corey Haim was in that. Maybe I'm imagining it. But I remember she was in it when she was a kid. But I don't think that was, like, real successful. So I think that maybe Beetlejuice was, like, her first, like, her breakout role. But she had been in movies prior to that. John Smith said, I used to be really into Metallica until the Some Kind of Monster documentary. I want my rock stars, gods on top of a mountain, not profoundly emotionally damaged men in group therapy. I still haven't seen, because I'm not a big Metallica fan, but so many people have, like, told me about that documentary that I'm kind of curious, because I like music biopics and I like music documentaries, even if it's a band that I don't give a shit about. Because shit, man, I think we went through, like, a spell, like, during a few week period where we were just, like, watching all these music documentaries that I don't even give shit if I like the band or not. It's just, like, I don't know. There's something about it that's kind of interesting to me. So we watched stuff about fucking Journey and, like, all kind of shitty-ass bands. And it's, like, it was kind of... So I wouldn't mind, like, watching the Metallica one, because I don't really like Metallica.
But not if it's bad. Like...
But... It might be entertaining to watch. In a way, it might be more entertaining to watch because I don't really like them, so I don't really have a stake in... whether they come across as, like, douchebags or not, because I'm just like, I don't care. I don't really like their music or anything all that much. So, I mean, they're all right, but it's not really my thing. So, that's why. Oh, shit, I got, like, way behind. Yeah, I think Heathers was also being filmed at the time. Yeah, oh, man, I love Heathers. That was such a great fucking movie. That was kind of like that was another movie that came out when I was in high school, and I was kind of like, oh my god, this movie was, like... It seemed like it was made specifically for, like, the demographic of, like, me and my friends, because we were, like, the same age as the characters in the movie were supposed to be, like, at the time that it came out, and it was, like, our sense of humor, and I still think that movie is fucking hilarious. I think we reviewed it not too long ago. Trey says, I just stick to my tight black jeans, Docs, or wingtips, and a band or horror shirt, and yeah, you're good. You're good. Hugo said, great show, guys. Sadly, gotta go. Good night, everybody. All right, good night. We have to
go in a bit, too.
Also. Yeah, because we're going out a bit later. So, like, in an hour. But I just,
we'll
I just gotta change clothes.
Minutes,
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
John Smith said, when I was a kid, the only people with tattoos were sailors and tough guys. Yeah, I kind of feel like even up until the 80s, really, I kind of feel like the only people... I don't know if the only people with tattoos, but... I grew up in Daytona, and there's a lot of bikers, so a lot of bikers had tattoos. So I kind of feel like it was sort of associated with bikers more than... I mean, now everybody's got them, and it's not, like, that big a deal.
Way back in the day, wasn't, like, tattooed man, like, a freak show thing? Like, oh
yeah.
My God.
Although, usually those people had tattoos, like, all over their bodies.
But still, there's those nowadays, too.
Yeah, now, like, you see people with full sleeves and everything, and everyone's like, meh.
Now, there's these new breed of goth girls. One of them I follow on Instagram. She's basically fully tattooed except her face, but her eyeballs are tattooed too.
Because they can do that.
And she's an artist, and it's all tattooed with her own art, and she looks fucking great.
Oh yeah, you showed me her. Yeah, it does. It looks amazing.
It's done really well. It looks like it's body paint or something, and it's just artwork, different, and it fades in and out, and there's patterns, and it's really classy. It looks really good. And it goes up her neck, and it stops at around her jawline, and I think it's got, like, little patterns that look like little vines and tree limbs and stuff. And it's not real detailed, which I think is good because it doesn't look messy. It looks really clean. And there's another girl out there who's nothing but long black triangles all over her body, but they're arranged in a way to kind of accentuate her. She's real well built, probably like 9. She's, fucking slender body, good fit, and everything accentuates her curves. And it's just this big long triangles, some of them 3 and 4 feet long, starting in one place and ending in a point somewhere else. And it's just done really, really well. So yeah, you can have a tattooed woman now. And it doesn't look like a tattooed woman of the past. It just looks like a bunch of blue. It doesn't look blue.
Well, because that was like the shitty ink that they used to use, and it faded and bled.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. It looks, but like I said, you can't do those piecemeal. Basically, you have to start with a fucking roadmap of what
you need an idea of what it's going to look like altogether.
Yeah, and then you got to work on that for over time, because man, that's a lot of black.
It takes a long time to do.
And money.
Yeah, and money.
You're like an investment. You need like an insurance policy on it.
Right.
A lot of the tattooed people of the past, it was just done hodgepodge, one piece at a time until they all touched each other. It wasn't any kind of plan. This thing, what they're doing now, there's a whole fucking blueprint of what it's going to look like. I think that's how you plan. You plan murals that way. You're just making a 3D mural on a person. Looks good.
Yeah, you're basically just making yourself into a piece of art.
Yep.
So you have to like play it ahead. I like that, and I think it looks better.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge anybody if you want to get, just like tattoos just over time, like to commemorate certain things, because I know that a lot of people do that. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm the kind of person that would like to sort of plan out what it was going to look like, just so everything would work well together, I guess.
Yeah.
But Trey said, when I was talking about the music documentaries, he said, I do that too. I read all kinds of rock and roll biographies too. Yeah, there's just something about it. I guess because I'm really into music in general, and I really like the music, reading about the music industry and reading about other people's like stuff like that. John Smith also said there's a great documentary about the Damned called Don't You Wish We Were Dead. Now, I need to see, because the Damned are super entertaining. And then he said, I saw a police officer with sleeve tattoos and was mildly scandalized.
That's funny.
Well, that's what I mean. I kind of feel like it's weird because it's happened so quickly. In the 80s, it was a big deal. Like, and I think more if you were a woman, but it's like if you were a man too, like if you had full sleeve tattoos and like I said, you had to go get a job somewhere like in an office or something, you would kind of have to cover that shit up. And a lot of times they would tell you, well, you have to wear long sleeves like all the time.
Yeah.
Like, because we can't...
Corporate uniform.
Yeah, like some little blue-haired old lady is going to come in here and, like,
no sense in law
call the police on you.
It makes no sense in law enforcement because a lot of the top guys that they want out there in the field are all ex-military. So they're going to have fucking airborne tattoos and fucking dice and fucking shamrocks and anything associated with ever military past and stuff's going to be all over them. American flags wrapped around, unit flags. You see a lot of that. I've seen cops with that in some of those videos on that channel, Police Activity. Which is nothing but just thousands and thousands of police shootings. Fucking fantastic. Fantastic channel. I love it. And it shows fucking just shootings and unjust shootings. They're not discriminating because some of these cops are fucked up. Some of them just... I saw one a long time ago where they had a dude arrested on the ground and he's yelling, I didn't do nothing. And he goes, shut up. And he goes, but I didn't do nothing. He goes, get up. And the guy got up and he shot him. Pow. He meant shut up, but he said get up. The dude got up.
Yeah.
Did exactly what he was told. The dude shot him. Didn't kill him though. He got lucky.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And the dude didn't do anything. He was an ex-army. He was not an ex-army. He was an army guy on fucking leave in the back seat of his friend's car. And they thought the car was stolen.
And it wasn't?
It wasn't stolen. It wasn't stolen.
My bad.
And he was just one of the dudes in the back. And the
Sorry,
cops were so hyped up doing this arrest. I think one of them ran, and the dude wasn't wanted for anything. It was chaos, you know. Some of those arrests are chaos, but it was kind of slightly an unusual situation. But it turns out none of them were wanted for anything. None of them, they were just dumb.
Gramthars said 30 years ago, tats were taboo for cops, and departments wouldn't hire anyone with visible ink. Now, unless someone has, like, the SS bolts or whatever, it's normal for cops to be tatted.
Yeah.
And Louis says, Tom knows living in California as a youngster that Mexican Americans started the whole black and gray tattoos, also known as prison-style tattoos. Yeah. I knew dudes that were getting tattoos back in junior high school, and in our community, women with tattoos wasn't a big thing. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like that was a white thing. Yeah. I kind of feel like that was a white person thing.
And the most common ones like little roses and skulls and shit like that. That's what the little Mexican girls had those. Yeah. Yeah. They were like little cute skulls and roses and stuff.
But yeah, it was weird because I remember getting my first tattoo, which I don't have anymore because I had it covered up with the big one here. But because I liked the tattoo, it just it was really old and faded. But I remember going to the tattoo shop, which was right by my grandmother's house, and it was all bikers, because it's Daytona, and that was like mostly bikers that got tattoos, and they were kind of like weirded out because I guess they didn't get a lot of women, especially that were just 18 or 19 years old, coming in there and wanting tattoos like on their arm. So they were trying to like talk me out of it at first, which I thought was kind of funny. But whatever.
I always think too with that corporate thing, like a lot of people got tattoos like to commemorate like someone that died.
Yeah.
I was gonna
and
say
they'll
that.
put like a date or a picture or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I dare somebody to go into a job interview and be like, cover that up, and you'd be like, that was my mom.
Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ. It's like.
Yeah. Like it makes you look real cold. Like
yeah.
Like after I said that, I said, a lot of those Mexican American girls had like basically Mima's name tattooed on.
Yeah. You're gonna discriminate against that?
I remember that. Yeah.
My dad has me and my siblings' names on his arms.
Yeah.
Like in cursive. Yeah.
All right.
Like the girls on one arm and the boys on the other arm.
It's past 8.
All right, shutting it down.
We gotta shut it down.
We gotta shut it down because we're going out to Barbarella tonight. Now tomorrow, we normally do a stream tomorrow, like a movie review. So I don't know if we're gonna do it or not. We'll find out.
Our schedule's kind of thrown, but you guys understand what's going on. We'll
I mean, yeah, like if we watch a movie tomorrow, or I don't know, we could just
watch one tomorrow. It's gonna be the Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, because Louis sent that, and it's like so we want to review that too. If we don't get to it, we might just do a sidetrack show, or I don't know. We'll see how we feel tomorrow. But I'll announce it like before we do anything. But yeah, so thanks everybody for dropping by this evening. Thank you for super chats and doing the discussion. And we'll see you guys again, possibly tomorrow. If not, then we'll do Monday for Haunting Mondays, right?
I got to get back to the boob harem.
The boob harem. Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll see you guys again soon.